Religion and Justice on Earth. The Third Testament. Revelations of Jesus Christ. Chapter 49. No religion or sect is the authentic. Thus saith the Lord. I do not come to awaken religious fanaticism among men. My doctrine is very distant from the teaching of falsehoods. I want reform, faith, charity, and spirituality. Fanaticism is a blindfold of darkness, an insane passion. It is gloom. Keep watch, so that evil seed does not penetrate your heart. And beware, for fanaticism sometimes takes on the appearance of love. Know that in these times, that darkness has invaded humanity. See how, in spite of the pagan peoples having disappeared from the earth, and the majority of humanity professing to worship the true God, men do not know or love me. Their wars, their hatred, and their lack of harmony are proof that they still do not allow me to live in their hearts. Great whirlwinds are approaching, the darkness of religious fanaticism and idolatry, and must purify the spiritual worship of this humanity. When that work has been done, the rainbow of peace will shine in the infinite. On earth, I have allowed religions to exist. They are the roads of the Spirit that lead to God. Every religion that teaches righteousness and love and exalts charity is good, because it contains the light of truth. When within them men degenerate and turn to evil, that which was originally good, then the road becomes lost among materialism and sin. That is why I come in this time, to show you once again my coming, which is the way, the essence and the law, so that you seek this law, which is both beacon and star, beyond the forms and the rites, beyond all that is human. He who seeks me thus is a spiritualist. Not one shall be lost. Some shall arrive earlier on the road I have shown you, while others come later on the roads that they are following. In any religion, men could take the teachings necessary to make themselves good, but when they do not do this, they blame the religion they profess and continue as they always have. Each religion is a path, some more perfect than others, but all lead you toward good and to try to reach the Father. If there is something in the religion you know that does not satisfy you, do not lose faith in me. Walk on the road of charity, and you will be saved, for my road is illuminated by the virtue of love. The religions are small truths that lead spirits to the true path by which they may ascend, step by step, to come to me. While men profess different faiths on earth, they are divided. But when they have taken the path of love and truth, they will have joined and identified with that single light, for the truth is one only. The unification of the religious shall occur when the spirit of humanity has ascended above materialism, traditions, prejudices, and fanaticism, for then men will have united spiritually in a single worship, doing good out of love of God and fellow man. When it is thus, humanity shall enter a period of perfecting itself. The spiritual division of men exists because some have grasped one branch and others a different one. There are many branches, but only one tree. Men, however, have not wanted to understand my teachings in this way, and the disputes deepen and widen the differences. Each believes he possesses the truth. Each one believes himself right. Yet I tell you that while you taste the fruit of only one branch without knowing the fruit of the others, you shall not recognize that all the fruit come from the same divine tree, whose union forms the absolute truth. Do not believe that the Master refers to the different religions' outward forms of worship in speaking to you this way, but to the fundamental principles upon which each one rests. The strong wind presaging a storm has begun to be felt. Its gusts, upon battering at the tree, shall cause some fruits to peel away, and be tried by those who had not before known them. Then they shall say, how wrong we were, and how blind! When carried away by our fanaticism, we rejected any fruits offered us by our brothers, just because they seemed unknown to us. A part of my light is in each of the multitudes, in every congregation. Let none therefore boast that they possess all the truth. Understand that if you wish to penetrate deeper into the eternal, if you want to go beyond where you are, if you wish to know more about me and yourselves, first you must join the knowledge of one to another, and so on among all. From that harmony shall spring the clear and pure light that you have sought in the world but could never find. Love one another. That is the maxim, my supreme commandment to man, without distinction of creed or religion. Approach one another through that maxim, and you will find me present in each of you. The antagonism of religions to development. Men have worried more about their human lives than their spiritual lives, often even while knowing that the human is fleeting and the spiritual eternal. That is why, while advancing their civilization and their science, spiritually men tarry, dozing in their religions. Observe the religions one by one, and you will see that none shows evidence of evolution, development, or perfecting itself. Yet each one is proclaimed as the highest truth, and those who profess it, believing that through it they find and know all, make no effort to move forward. The divine revelations, the law of God, my doctrine, and my manifestations have made you understand from the beginning that man is a being subject to evolution. Why then do none of your religions give evidence or proof of this truth? I tell you that a doctrine that awakens the spirit, gives it light, develops it and reveals what it contains, that lifts it up every time it stumbles, and keeps it moving unceasingly forward. Such a doctrine is inspired by truth. And is that not what my teaching has revealed to you in every era? Nonetheless, spiritually you have been stationary for a long time, because you have been more worried about things that touch your lives on earth than the things which correspond to your spirit. But in order not to completely abandon the spiritual, you have made your religions in such a way that they do not all impede your tasks, duties, and work on earth. And so, complying with that religious tradition, you imagine you are fulfilling your duty to God. You try to quiet your conscience and believe you are assuring your passage to glory. Such ignorance, humanity! When will you wake up to reality? Don't you realize that complying with your religions gives nothing to me or to your own spirit? When you leave your churches and temples and say, I have complied with God's rules, you have made a big error, because you believe that you came to give something to me, when in fact you should realize that you have nothing to give me, and much to receive from me, as well as to give yourselves. You believe that obedience to the law is limited to going to those places, and that is another serious error, because those places should be schools where the disciples learn, so that they can put the lessons learned into practice throughout their lives. That is true compliance with the law. The relation between religion and science. From the beginning of time, the emissaries of the law and doctrine of the Spirit have seen the man of science as an adversary, and great battles have taken place between them. It is time that I say something about these controversies. I made this world to serve as a temporary dwelling for incarnated spirits, but before they came to populate it, I prepared them with the gifts of conscience, understanding, and will. I knew beforehand the destiny and evolution of my creatures, and deposited on the earth, in its bowels, on its surface, and in its atmosphere, all the elements necessary for the protection, sustenance, development, and even the enjoyment of human beings. And so that man could discover the secrets of nature as a source of life, I permitted his intelligence to awaken. So the principle of the sciences was revealed to man, a gift that all of you possess. Although there have always been some men of greater capacity, whose mission has been to wrest from nature the secrets of its forces and elements for the well-being and joy of humanity. I have also sent great spirits to the earth to reveal spiritual life to you, that which is found over nature, beyond science. By means of those revelations, you have sensed the existence of a universal, powerful, creating, omnipotent, and omnipresent being, who reserves for man an existence after his death and eternal life for the spirit. However, since some men come bearing spiritual missions and others scientific ones, they have risen to strive with each other in all times, always as enemies, religion and science. Today I tell you that spirit and matter are not opposing forces. Harmony must exist between them. My spiritual revelations are light, and so are the revelations and discoveries of science. Yet if you have heard me censor the work of scientists, it is because many of them have taken the energy, the elements, and the previously unknown forces of nature for unchecked ambition and earthly dominion, and for the depraved purposes of destruction, hatred, and revenge. I should tell you that to those who have acted with love and for good ends on their missions, to those who have respectfully and humbly penetrated my arcane, it has pleased me to uncover great mysteries for the benefit of my daughter, humanity. Science, since the beginning of the world, has kept humanity walking on the path of material progress, on which at every step men have found the fruits of science, sweet to some and bitter to others. This is the era when you must understand that all the light belongs to my spirit, and all that is life is from my divinity, because I am the arcane, the source and the beginning of all creation. These disputes between the spiritual and the scientific will disappear from mankind, so much so that spirituality and science will unite in one single light to illuminate the path of man to the infinite. The hardness and injustice of earthly judiciary. I have come to nullify your erroneous laws, so that you will be governed only by those that are formed by my precepts, and are in agreement with my wisdom. My laws are of love, and on proceeding from my divinity. They are unalterable and eternal, while yours are temporary, and at times cruel and selfish. The law of the Father is of love, of goodness. It is like a balsam which gives comfort and strength to the sinner, so he can bear the restitution for his faults. The Father's law of love always offers a generous opportunity to the delinquent to regenerate himself, while your laws, on the contrary, humiliate and punish the wrongdoer, and many times the innocent and the weak. In your justice there is hardness, vengeance, and lack of mercy. The law of Christ is of gentle persuasion, of infinite justice, and supreme uprightness. You yourselves are your judges. On the other hand, I am your tireless defender. But it is necessary for you to know that there exist two ways of atoning for your offenses. One is through love, and the other through pain. You choose, for you still enjoy the gift of freedom of will. I am the divine judge. I do not apply sentences greater than the crime. I find clean many of those who accuse themselves before me, but there are many that proclaim their cleanliness, who I find depraved and guilty. Oh, how unjust is human justice! How many victims of bad judges are atoning for the crimes of others? How many innocents have seen the bars of prison close before their eyes, while the guilty walks free, bearing his invisible burden of robbery and crime? Because human justice is imperfect, your prisons are full of victims, and your gallows stained with the blood of the innocent. How many criminals do I see enjoying liberty and the respect of the world, and to how many of the depraved have you raised monuments in the reverence to their memory? If you could only see those beings, when having come to dwell in the spiritual veil, the light comes to their spirits. Instead of useless and senseless eulogies, you would send them prayers to console them in their remorse. The arrogant, self-righteous justice of man. May love be what guides you, so that you may become true messengers of the divine Comforter. For you, who have never tumbled into an abyss, are always blaming, always judging superficially, and condemning your fellow men without any pity. And that is not my doctrine. If, before judging, you looked closely at yourselves and your defects, I assure you, your judgment would be more merciful. You consider those in jails to be evil, and hold those in hospitals to be unlucky. You keep yourself apart from them without realizing that they are worthy of entering the kingdom of my love. And you do not wish to consider that they also have the right to receive the rays of the sun, which was made to give life and warmth to all creatures without exception. Many of these beings confined in places of atonement are mirrors into which humanity does not wish to look, for it knows that what these mirrors reflect will many times be an accusation. Earthly justice as a necessary evil. The justice established on earth does not act justly. I can see its lack of charity, its lack of understanding, and its hardness of heart. And yet, each shall receive perfect justice. I have permitted these trials, and as long as humanity does not comply with my laws, as long as they do not fulfill its requirements, on the earth there shall be those who subjugate their hearts, who hurt them. If you would comply, there would be no need for judges in this world. There would be no punishment. You would need no government. Each would know how to govern his own actions, and all would be governed by me. All of you would be inspired by my laws, and your actions would be always beneficent, striving for spirituality and love. However, humanity has fallen to great depths of immorality and vice. Sin has been made the owner of the hearts of men, and hence the consequences. You must drain the cups of bitterness and bear the humiliations heaped upon you by those of your brothers who have power on earth. Be humble, however, and bear their judgments with patience. Remember that I am the perfect judge.